Have you ever scrolled online and seen a juicy piece of gossip, but with the names missing? You know, the kind that talks about a certain A-list actor or a pop star with a famous ex. Well, you've stumbled into the wild, shadowy world of celebrity blind items. Today, we're going to break it all down, what they are, how they work, and what they tell us about the machinery of fame.
So what exactly is a blind item? Think of it like a puzzle. You get all the scandalous details, the what, the where, the when, but the who is hidden behind a clever nickname. It's a way to spill the tea, so to speak, without getting into major legal trouble. And for fans, the real fun is trying to crack the code and figure out who everyone's talking about. Okay, so that's the textbook definition. But what does this world of whispers and speculation really look like when it's out in the wild? To get a real feel for it, we're going to dive into 3 very different case studies, looking at how these blind items can spin up narratives of drama, mystery, and sometimes even brilliant public relations.
First up, a couple that has had everyone talking, Timothée Chalamet and Kylie Jenner. From the second they got together, their relationship has been under this insane microscope. And of course, that makes them the perfect subject for the rumor mill, which absolutely loves to poke at a shiny new celebrity romance.
And here we go, our first piece of the puzzle. In this world, meme actor is pretty much code for Timothée Chalamet. So this little tidbit claims he was seen with another actress, immediately planting that seed of doubt. And there's a kernel of truth to it. He was seen in a hotel lobby in France with actress Anna Maria Vartholomei. And yeah, the cheating rumors just exploded.
But, and this is a huge but, context is everything. Yes, they were in the same place. But, were they caught doing anything? Nope. No photos, no proof of anything shady going on. And that raises a really interesting question. Was this a genuine piece of gossip, or was it maybe part of a smear campaign, especially with Chalamet in the middle of an Oscar run? Just when you think you've got one side of the story, bam, a totally different narrative pops up to muddy the waters. Now this blind item points the finger at Kylie Jenner, the A-list reality star, saying she hooked up with her ex, Travis Scott. And that death fetish party line? Oof. That's a direct shot at her kid's Astroworld-themed birthday party, which a lot of people found pretty tone-deaf.
So what you end up with are these 2 competing stories, one painting him as the bad guy, the other painting her as the one being unfaithful. It creates this public narrative of total instability, whether it's true or not. It becomes this saga of a super fragile romance, and everyone's just left wondering if they can possibly survive all this drama.
All right, let's move on to our next case. We're shifting gears here from romantic drama to the ultra-private world of one of the most powerful families in music, the Carters. And this is a great example of how sometimes it's the lack of information that can create the biggest story of all.
Now, this is a really sensitive one that's been floating around for a while. It's about Beyonce and Jay-Z's son, Sir Carter. It makes this totally unproven claim about his health, and it all stems from the fact that he's rarely seen at public family events. This is where blind items can get really personal, really fast.
And you can see why the speculation starts. You know, you see Jay-Z at the Super Bowl with his daughters, Blue Ivy and Rumi. They're right there, they're in the photos, they're part of that public family image, but their brother, Sir, is consistently missing from these big events. That absence creates a vacuum, and you know what they say about nature? Public curiosity rushes right in to fill it.
And that vacuum gets filled with all sorts of theories. The most persistent one is the speculation that Sir might have special needs. But there's also a much simpler, and maybe more likely, counter-theory. He's a little kid. He might just hate huge, loud, chaotic events. I mean, who could blame him? It really highlights a tricky ethical line, speculating about a child's health just because he isn't in the spotlight.
So the big takeaway here is pretty powerful. By pointing out an absence and then attaching a dramatic, speculative reason to it, a blind item can turn a private family decision into a full-blown public mystery. It creates all this debate and concern over something that might just be, well, a family being a family. For our final case study, we're changing lanes again. We're moving away from personal drama and into the pure business of being famous. The question here isn't about cheating or family secrets, it's about whether a relationship is even real in the first place. And this is where we get a peek behind the curtain at the mechanics of celebrity PR.
Okay, this blind item is all about the lingo. The foreign-born, permanent A-list athlete is pretty clearly meant to be Formula One superstar Lewis Hamilton. And the key phrase here is beard. In gossip speak, a beard is someone who's in a fake relationship with a celebrity to hide something about their real personal life. So this item isn't pulling any punches. It's saying the rumored thing with Kim Kardashian is completely fake.
But then a totally different interpretation comes along. This one suggests that, okay, maybe it's not some passionate love affair, but it's not just a simple beard either. Instead, it frames their public appearance as a calculated, even brilliant PR move. The idea is that this isn't a cover-up, it's a strategy.
And the alleged strategy is actually kind of genius when you break it down. Step 1. Debut at the Super Bowl. Why? Because there's so much else going on. The game, Usher, the commercials, Taylor Swift. Step 2. Your news gets out, but it gets lost in the noise. It doesn't become the only thing people talk about. Step 3. You wear matching, understated black outfits to just blend in. The goal? To launch the relationship publicly without it feeling like a desperate plea for attention.
So what does this case really show us? It taps into this deep public suspicion that everything in a celebrity's life is a performance. It suggests that for people at that level of fame, even romance can be a meticulously planned media campaign. The performance, the strategy, that becomes the actual story.
So we've looked at romance, we've looked at family, we've looked at PR. Let's zoom out. What does all this tell us about why this world of anonymous gossip is so, well, popular? Why are we so fascinated by these little puzzles?
Well, it really boils down to a few things. First, they make us feel like we have inside information, like we've cracked a secret code. They also create these amazing, dramatic stories. They're basically real-life soap operas. They feed our curiosity about how the whole celebrity machine really works, and most importantly, they constantly blur that line between the perfect, polished public image and the potentially messy, real person underneath.
And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. We live in an age where every Instagram post is perfectly curated. Every interview is prepped. When the official story feels so manufactured, these blind items, even if they're totally unproven, they offer this raw, unfiltered alternative. And it makes you wonder, in a world of fake perfection, does all this speculation and rumor become its own kind of reality?